Alright, greetings everyone. It's a pleasure to have you watching this tutorial. My name is Peter Shear, and let me give you a little brief for myself. I'm a senior concept artist, work on a lot of films such like Dune Part 2, The Last of Us TV series, and Thor Love and Thunder, and a bunch of Marvel movies, etc. I was born in Hong Kong and grew up in Taiwan. I was majoring in biology back then in the universities, and not until I truly understand myself, I switched my career to art in around 2013, and I started to work in the film industry for the last decade. I've been work for Method Studio, Framestorm, and Double Negative, and then here I am. So, in this sections, I will give you a brief overview of the job responsibilities of a concept artist working in the post-production house and how a typical day is spent. So, if you are a student or you're aspiring to become a concept artist in the film industry, I hope the following contents will be helpful. First thing, every morning, we have what we call dailies. And usually it is a meeting with our VFX supervisor who is in charge of the entire shows. When a company got a new films, the supervisors and producers were gathering to watch all the sequence and determining which shots need VFX and what kinds of effect are required. Then concept artists will intervene and participate in these sections. And when the supervisor assigns us a new task, first of all, I'll confirm with him, like, how much time do I have? Yeah, because sometimes they want it like in a very urgent way. So in that case, I'll use like paint over and photo bash. If we have more luxurious in time, then I will use 3D. And I'll confirm how many versions do they want and the story background and the plot. Because usually when we got a shows, we don't know what exactly is the plot and the story, so we might need more background in order to like do a better interpretations. And I will confirm with them about the style, the mood, the shape language they want, and the essential elements in the concept, and timing or lighting, or even whether do I need to include like storytellings, or it could be just like a pure concept art with like free side viewed. The second stage is I will spend a lot of time looking for reference. Most of the time it will take at least like a morning or even like 1 day or 2 days. And then our best friend is Google, Flickr's ArtStation, and Pinterest. When you gather a bunch of like photo reference, we will like put them into a specific folders. We will separate them into groups so it will be more easy for future use or reference. And usually I will like separate them into these three categories, which is textures, mood and lighting, and shape. So I recommend you do the same. Third stage, it is the thumbnail and sketching times. And usually I will draw the silhouette, but like most of the time it's only for myself. In the film industry, which is very interesting to me, is like supervisor or clients, they tend to not to see how your thumbnail or sketches. They don't interesting in how you develop the concept. They just want to see the final image, and if it looks nice, they are totally okay with it. At the 4 stages is work. If it is creature concept or like organic shape, then I will use ZBrush. And if it is like a hard surface machines or buildings, then I'll use 3D codes or Blender. And I use Blender for layout and texturing. If they would like a more detailing model, then I'll use Substance Painter for the texture. And then I render in Blender or Unreal, it depends. And finally, I'll paint over in Photoshop. And this is my workflow. The other days, I will have another dailies with our supervisor, or not specific for the other day, probably 2 days or 3 days later. It's up to the circumstance. Then if the supervisor has any feedback, I just go back to fix it. And we just go back and forth until they got approved. And then I got a new task. The whole process just go over and over again. And this is the daily life for us. It's nothing fancy, but at least it pays the bills, right? So, all right. So we're done in this section. See you in the next one.